So this is a simple boat drawing with watercolour. It's just a straightforward one, this. We're just going to sketch it out with a fountain pen, really quick, really loose, and I'm going to splash some colour on. It's just a play, really. Really simple. It's a really loose drawing. I'm going to use a fountain pen, but you could use anything. You could use a fine liner or a pencil or your finger or next door's dog. I'm not going to be too precious with this one. It's supposed to be fun and fast and a bit loose and a bit silly. Let's do it. Hey guys, I'm sorry to interrupt me, but I just wanted to say this picture is going to be available as a giveaway, and if you'd like this on your wall, then stick to the end of this video and I'll tell you how you can win it. Okay, thanks. So I know in the reference drawing the picture of the boat is over to the right hand side, as you can see. I'm going to bring it back a bit central because I think it looks like it's sort of leaving shot there. And then I'm going to start at a reference point at the back of the boat and I'm going to put a dot there. Now, I know that the front of the boat is going to be slightly higher, so I'm going to put a dot there. And then the bow comes down to the water, which is about here. And then the waterline is normally flat, so I'll put another dot there. Maybe make it a tiny bit longer, and that'll give me the sort of aspect ratio of the hull. When I say the aspect ratio, I mean the relationship between its height and width. So I can look at that now and say, is that too big? Is it too small? And actually, I think it probably looks about right. So then I can go and so I can start drawing that in now. But what I want to do first is I want to do those fenders, because those fenders are those little round balls and they're in front of the hull. So the first thing I'm going to draw those fenders. So this one here. And then there's one slightly behind it there. So I'll draw that one in. And then there's one about halfway along. So I'll draw that little line just to sort of denote a rope. And then these little bumpers which stop the boats bashing together when they're in harbours. And then we're going to draw the lines in. So let's go like that. Now you can see I've got a little bit of a wobble in that line. It don't matter. There's a bit of a pointy bit on the front of the boat there, and I'm going to put in that double line there. And then we can start putting the bow in. Now, when it comes to doing all these little details on boats, it's quite nice to do some. We don't feel you have to do all. You don't have to do any. You could just do a really simple shape and then paint that in. But what I like to do is, because I like boats, and I'm going to put a little bit of a line in here for the water. Today, it's Yorkshire tea, which I don't think is the finest tea in the world. It's good. The finest tea in the world, I think, is brewed with malt and possibly smoked in the west coast of Scotland. They make good tea, single malt tea. Anyway, yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a few more details in of that hull. So at the bottom we've got this waterline, or like a boot top, like a white bit. There's some scuppers. Now the scuppers are the holes in the side of the boat. And they're there to drain the water in case you get any water on the deck, which obviously you're going to do if it's a fishing boat because you're hauling in nets and things like that. And then there is the black area there on the side. Yeah, that's kind of the hull done. So then we've just got the wheelhouse on top, which is what it says. It's where the steering wheel goes. And back in the days, they would have had an open wheel on boats, and then they built a house to put the wheel in to protect the poor sailors. So it literally is what it says. It's a house for the wheel. All right. You can see a little bit at the back of it there, and then there's a curve on the back of there. And then there's all sorts of stuff on the top of, normally on top of these cabins. See, it's not perfect, like the ratios aren't absolutely perfect, but that's not the point. The point is the process. The point is to sit, have a cup of tea, or a little bit of west coast of Scotland single malt tea, but it's just tea today, and just to enjoy the process. And the process starts when you get your pen in your hand and you start the drawing, and it ends when you're in tears. And it ends when you look at it and you go, I've done enough. And enough might be actually just 10 minutes of downtime. Enough might be when you get to the point when you go, I really like that. Or enough might be just escaping whatever chaos is flying around your brain or your house or your school or your workplace. So I'm going to go and put a few more details in now of the boat, and I'm going to be super quick because there's loads of stuff on here. I think it might be some kind of crabbing boat here. There's some kind of crane on the back of it there. I'm going to sketch that in pretty quickly, and there's all sorts of other stuff happening, which I don't really know what it is. But it's nice to sort of populate the scene, if you know what I mean. Now, there's one of these orange life rings here. And some kind of rail there. Again, I'll sort of fudge that. There looks to be a wheelbarrow in the back of this boat. I'm sure it's not. But anyway, I'm just going to put in some bits and bobs. There's something with like 2 handles sticking up. I think it's where they haul the nets in over the side, or the long lines, or the crab pots, or whatever. And then there is another piece of gear here, which I think is some other kind of winch. So many bits on boats. And we have these 2 windows. And again, don't be too precious about getting everything just so. Doesn't matter. And then we have a little thing at the front. So there you go. There's a lovely, simple little boat sketch. Tell you what I have forgotten. It needs a mast. And it's not going to hold up sails, but it will hold navigation lights, which most boats need, particularly if they're going out at night. And also, it'll need a place for an aerial. My aerial's a bit wonky. Now, this thing at the back, this funny triangular thing, this is to show that it's a fishing boat. This shape here. Right, that'll do for that. Should we leave it at that? Nice and simple. And I get a hairdryer and I'm going to blast that quickly. Now, the reason why that's important is because if you splash watercolour straight on there and make your drawing a little bit more free than you'd probably want, I'm just going to basically start at the top and create C as if... Right, so I've changed my mind about this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get a palette, mix up a little bit of colour, get a bigger brush, and I'm going to just splash a lot of paint on here. The reason why I'm getting a palette is because I want to mix quite a bit of paint up in one go. Now, these little trays are not really great for that. But the good thing about a palette is you can actually put quite a lot of water on there, like that. I'm dropping it in. This is a mop brush. It's a bit too bright blue. The blue in the picture is slightly darker. So I'll mix that up, and then I might get just a tiny spot of the Van Dyke brown, and that's going to knock that back a bit. So I'm going to tilt that back slightly, and I'm going to start at the top, and I'm just going to come down, and I'm going to drop on paint as I'm going. Now you see I've still tilted that up a little bit, and what you'll see is that'll create a bead. And again, I'm not being too fussy. I might leave a few white bits. So just some slight cloud details, something like that. Plus the fact it's quite nice sometimes to leave a few white bits. And the reason why I'm tilting this up is because I want to be able to control the bead as it flows down. So I'm going to tilt that way to send the watercolour down that side. That's it. And I'll need to leave that white space there. Now what I might do here is I might create a pool of water. So you see that's along the bottom there, and I quite like it sometimes when we get a bit of a run. So I'm going to tap that down like that. So we've got some more. Add in some more there. go. Well, we can encourage some of these runs to go a bit further. There we go. It looks a bit drippy and a bit sort of wet. It's quite fun, that. So that's our sort of background for the sky stroke sea. I'm going to hairdry that now. So this is a sort of yellow to orangey, isn't it? So if I start off and I'll just mix a little bit of that there, and then add in a little bit of this orange colour or something like that. Oops, it'd help if I picked up some pigment. So I'm going to start back there with a little bit of yellow. I actually think sometimes that watercolour is a fantastic way of painting, but unless you're mixing two colours together, it can feel like a bit of a waste, if that makes sense. So what I always, not always, but what I often like to do is to add in some colour, the colour that I'm kind of vaguely after. And then whenever there's an opportunity, put in a dab of another pigment, like say just here. That's it. You see that orange on the front? And maybe actually a bit more there. It just never does any harm to add in colour where you can. And watercolour, how it works really is if you have two separate colours, they will mix up. And it's that transparency and that sort of chemistry in the watercolour, which is its sort of magic power, if you know what I mean. Right, so we've got some darks in there and some other bits and bobs going on, but there's not really a huge amount more to do. I mean, obviously I'm going to go and put those dark colours in. Let's put the orange in there just of that thing, which is quite nice. And I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll put in an orange fender, which again is a fun thing. And a nice colour pop on there would be nice. Cool. So, hairdrying. Again, it's the most important tool that I have for watercolour and line and wash is the hairdryer. Let's put in some reflection. Now, if we go back to the drawing, you can see the reflections are sort of like in the lines where the waves are under the boat. But normally there's quite a strong horizontal element to them. And that's because you're looking at a flat surface. So if you're sort of not really sure about reflections, I would recommend using a brush and just dabbing it on and pulling it and lifting it off. And I can show you what I mean. So we're going to dab it on, pull it, and then lift it off like that. And back towards where the boat is at the back, we're going to do some really thin ones. Dot, 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 dash, 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 dot, dot. Like that. And then as we get closer to the viewer, a bit more contrast, we can do some slightly heavier ones. And you can add in some more shapes as well. But anyway, there you go. Now what I could do is I could take some of this lovely paint here, and this might not work, but what have I got to lose? It's only paper. And then just splash in a little bit of pop of colour there. That's great. I love that. And I might take a bit more and add in a few more. There we go. So I don't know how you feel about that. You might not like that, but it doesn't matter because it's my picture. Now you may have some Payne's grey. I've got some palette swill here, which is already vaguely grey. Now you probably know that I tend to mix my greys with a Van Dyke brown, and if I want some texture in them, granulates French ultramarine granulates very well, and that will give you some texture to your greys. If you can hear a strange smell, did I just say that? If you can hear a strange sound, that's because my doggy is wandering around the floor picking up the crumbs from the kids' breakfast. 'Cause who needs a Hoover when you have a dog? Rubbing streak, as I said, that goes all the way around the outside of the boat, and there's that black line that goes around there like that. We have some windows here, some of the bits and bobs and some windows. It's always nice to try and preserve a little bit of transparency with watercolour. You never want anything that's like a heavy block of colour that comes in there and you just can't see through it. So the other thing that I might consider doing here is just trying to put a little bit of that reflection into the sea here, because we do have these darker areas here. So using the same technique as before, I'm just going to drag a few bits across there. There we go. Right, so a paler wash, paler grey, just to get a bit of shadow in some of the areas here, like there. I think it'd work. There's a tiny bit of shadow just under there. And there's actually a tiny bit that runs under there, and the scuppers there. So I think that's good. A final bit of hair drying, and I think I might use the gel pen just to create a few little highlights on stuff, and then it's done. I like sometimes to make things pop. I think it's from my like industrial design days where often if I was doing a rendering of something, you know, with markers or whatever, it's the final touches that are the really fun bit and really makes it sort of pop. So often I like to put a few little dots on stuff. I feel like it gives it a bit of life, if that makes sense. Actually take away the little bit, I believe that. I don't think there's much more to do to that. This black line here, I'm not so keen on that up against the boat, so I'm going to just take away a bit of that. It's a bit poppier, simplified, but it's got energy, it's got a lively feel to it, a summer's day feel, and I like it. Hope you do too. And I hope you got a bit from that. Have a go. The reference picture will be, if you're on my Patreon, the reference picture will be below. Yeah, and I'll put a link in the description below if you're on YouTube. Do remember, my Patreon and the members section of my YouTube channel are both there for longer, more detailed videos. There's some exclusive content and a little bit more access to me to get support with your drawing and your art journey. So you can pay a little bit every month and do that and support the channel. But yeah, do like and subscribe. So if you'd like this finished piece of artwork to put on your wall, all you have to do is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and then say in the comments, I would love your yellow boat, or just put yellow boat. So then what I'll do is I'll choose somebody at random about a month after the video has gone live, and just to give people time to comment, and then I'll make a little announcement. I'll pin it to the video, who's won, and I'll post it out. I'm not sure about this new camera angle thing. It's not the most flattering of angles. Not when you've got a bit of a chin. Anyway, see you later, guys. Bye-bye.